So, Mr. Silverstruck, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Let me call out the chat real quick before we get
Yeah, go for
started
it.
here.
Go for it.
Conqueror of Balls, welcome in. Good to see you. Scotty Aquati was up there at the top. Blue Collar was saying, hey, what's up, guys? We have a UK fellow here, fellow stacker, Sandy Millington. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, go check it out. I'll drop a link here in a second. Deathboat from below, Robert Wojciechowski. Silverstruck is also here, of course. Kevin Hawthorne, good to see you. Peter J as well. Good to see you from down below, mate. And I think we're all caught up. So Silverstruck, looks like you have a nice display of Engelhard products up there.
Yeah, I put together a display of mostly Engelhard. You got some Johnson Mattheys, few off refiners that you don't see as much. Nevada Coin Mart in there. I've got Academy, Big Omega Bar right over there. So, but mostly JM and Engelhard today.
Nice.
What is the 25 ounce one there at the bottom with the T on it?
That's Omega.
Okay.
Yeah, 25 ounce Omega.
Very cool.
Yeah, pick that up and show it. It's a large one, 25 ounce.
That. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about the one next to it. That one is
awesome.
Awesome.
That's an odd one. You don't see those often. That is a T-Fox.
Oh, wow.
You guys ever heard of T-Fox?
No.
I've never heard of them, no.
Yeah, this thing's a brick. So pretty interesting. You don't see those often. So I figured I'd bring that out. Something different, you know?
It looks like they just chopped it off a big like Comex bar or something.
Yeah,
it does have some striation marks on it. Here's the back of it, the reverse, and then you can see it's kind of more of a machine bar.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you got your Engelhard across the back row there, right? You said those are all proofs there, or?
Yeah, this is the complete set of proofs, all slabbed and graded from Annex. Very hard set to put together. Engelhard struck 8 proofs. There's only one in the group that isn't really part of the set, which is this one over here. It's an Everest round. So again, hard to find round, but it's kind of a proof-like, if you will, not necessarily a proof. Has the eagle reverse, but the rest of the set is all your Engelhard proofs from your easier dates to your harder dates. Of course, the hardest to find being the 1988 Summit Bancorp round, which is this guy right here. Even though the mintage is at 100, it's not the lowest mintage, but it's definitely the hardest to find.
So the mintage of that is 100. I wonder actually how many survived. Do you think most of them, or?
No, I think very few. It's nobody would have known what that round was in the early 90s or late 80s because it was basically commissioned by Summit Bancorp for the employees of that bank, and so they were given out. So I would imagine not too many of those people actually kept the round back in the day. I've only seen, I think, 3 total. Mine and a few other collectors that I know have them, and this one's also my lowest PF at 62 because it was clearly chucked in a generic bin for a while. So it's all scraped up and everything. So it's kind of interesting hunting these rounds and finding them. I didn't actually find that one in the wild. A person who watches the channel reached out to me and offered it for sale, and so that's how I was able to acquire that. So thanks to the community here,
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like, where do you shop? You have local coin shops. You have shows. Where do you do most of your acquiring?
2 local coin shops is what I use routinely, and then every once in a while I'll go to a show. But we don't have up here in New England. We don't have the shows that you guys have out west. The fun show down in Florida and the coin shows you're talking about in Nevada. We just don't have that kind of breadth of coin show over here. So we have, some coin shows to come through, and I do go to those. And then obviously you can do a lot through the community. I've done a lot of trading over the years. That's how I've acquired quite a bit of the silver that you see here. And other than that, you have your specialty sites like Mineral X. You can go there, but of course, I don't know if you guys use Mineral X at all auctions, but the premiums on those bars are quite high now. I think vintage really has caught on quite a bit, getting more into the mainstream.
So Conqueror of Balls says he had a quick question. So were all the Engelhard proofs produced specifically for banks?
No, just that one was produced for a bank. The rest were just some, I believe, were given to Engelhard employees. I once met someone who used to work for Engelhard Canada, and he says that they got the Engelhard Canadian round as a gift. I don't know if that was for all of them or just maybe management. So that would be the only undated Engelhard proof. This one right here. You can see no date, and it's the only one with a goose on it. So you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
The Canadian.
So now, did you get those graded on your own, or were they graded when you found them?
Nope. I've got every single one of these came to me raw, and over the years I've sent them all out for grading. Partly because I'm not really too interested in the grade. I really wanted to make sure they were going to be preserved and protected. And as a collector, I want everything to be uniform. Of course, that's how a lot of us operate, with a touch of OCD. So the whole set matches here. And the lowest mintage of all of them is actually this one right here. So this is the key date of the series. This is the 1984. This one happens to be in PF68. And this one here has a mintage of 50.
Now, did they have two reverses on that 84 as well, or did they choose just the one reverse?
Excellent question. The 84 was just in the big E reverse. So that's how they chose to do the proofs. Matter of fact, when you're talking about reverses, and I've mentioned this in a few videos past, the first time the Eagle was actually used wasn't on the 1984 standard production round. It was actually on the 1983 proof.
Oh, okay.
And so in 83, see if I can, I'm operating upside down here on my end. There we go. So here's a pair of 83s. And you can see one is the Eagle reverse, and the other one is the big E. See the obverse. See 1983s. Very, very first time the Eagle was actually used happened to be on the back of that 1983 proof ahead of the standard production rounds for 84.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they were just like testing it out, to see. But I would imagine that the dies, though, would be much different for a proof than for a standard round.
There's some differences in the frosting for sure. They probably did use different dyes, but of course, as we know, for those of us that came in from the numismatic world into bullion and then ultimately collecting vintage, they just have to polish the dyes to really produce a proof, right? Yeah. So they probably did use different dyes just because the frosting is that much different. You can see ripples in the water are different from the standard production rounds. Give an example, except for the 88, which I think the 88 is a clear example of where they probably didn't use a different dye. So let's check out the ripples in the water from the 88 to, what am I holding here? Let me look real quick. 85. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but see how the ripples in the water are completely different?
It's hard to see.
Yeah, like the 85 almost looks like bigger ripples, and the 86 or the 88 almost looks like smaller, closer ripples, maybe?
No, but let's see if I can use a standard production round versus a proof. Of course, the plastic doesn't help, right? Because it's kind of hard to see. But the ripples are a lot more pronounced and separate, and on the proofs they're a lot more matte, except for the 88. So they probably used, I'm guessing, they probably used a 1987 dye for the obverse. Just changed the date because it doesn't have the same frosting finish that the rest of them have.
So what got you into collecting the prospector rounds?
That's a great question. I think I began more interested when I found out about the scarcity of the 1983. That's really kind of got me interested. Was the key date of the standard production rounds 83. All the mintages are the same for all the standard production rounds, but it was just kind of the more YouTube videos you watch, the more you pay attention to vintage. You get these little mini collections that might make you interested in something. Of course, if you're a collector, you're more interested in something that's a little bit more rare, harder to get. And so that's how I became interested in the prospectors. Be honest with you, when I first got into collecting vintage, I wouldn't buy the prospector. Just like I considered it generic, just like anybody else would consider it a generic round. And now it's my favorite.
That's interesting because the 83 is what got me into collecting the little set I have. I just have the regular ones and not the whole set or anything. But I had picked up an 83 at a coin shop here locally, and it was actually like $1 or $2 over spot at the time. And I did a video on it, and everybody was in the comments. They're like, "You better. That's a great one to have," because I didn't know anything about it. And so I went back and I got the rest of them. I think I got 10 at the time or something. However many they had, I went back and bought them all.
Yep, it's really interesting still to this day that the 83 is that scarce, considering the mintage numbers. And the premiums on them today are crazy, but years ago you could find those in generic bins along with the rest of the dates, just grouped in there with the 84s and 82s and all of that. So having a scarcity kind of sparked my interest, and it just helped me go down a vintage rabbit hole that I've never recovered from.
Keep an eye out for the next clip, or you can just watch the whole video linked below.